In this video we're going to look at some of the tools that exist underneath the Inspect menu. The top one, the Measure tool, we used in an earlier video to understand the distance between two faces. If I drop a little further down this menu, there's a useful tool called Section Analysis, which allows me to click on either a face or a plane and actually start a sectional view from that particular starting point, and I can drive that up and down through my model using the arrow and pick the kind of sectional view that I'm looking for to understand the internals of my particular model. Now, one thing to notice here is if you hit enter on the keyboard or click on OK on this dialog box, it basically locks that sectional view onto the screen. So that can be useful because sometimes you may need to do some modeling while having access to this sectional view. But once you've finished with it, then you do need to suppress that view in the workspace by clicking on the light bulb in the browser. So it creates a browser sectional view element here, and you can basically toggle that on or off as you see fit. Now, also underneath the Inspect menu, there's this thing called Zebra Analysis, which is really useful for complex surface bodies. So if I click on the cover that we created, this allows you to create zebra stripes on the part to allow you to understand how good the surfaces of your model are. So generally this is pretty good, except right in this very top corner where I can see some strange kind of pinch points going on with the zebra stripes, and that means that there's a little bit of a discontinuity in the surface there, and that might be something I want to go and deal with. Once again, if you choose enter on the keyboard or click on OK, it creates that zebra view in the browser, and if you then need to toggle it on or off, then use the light bulb as you would any other browser item. The final thing I just want to mention under the Inspect tool is this thing here called Interference. Interference is a little bit of an error check type of tool. So basically what it will do is look for components that are interfering with each other. So maybe they're in collision with each other. Sometimes that may be by design, but more often than not it's usually by accident. And it's something that you want to do probably just to check that your design is good before you move any further with it. So to use the interference tool, select it. I'm going to point it at the whole model, so I'm going to select the whole model by clicking on it in the browser, and then I use this compute option, and it's going to now look for interferences, and it's actually found an interference. It's found an interference between the Arduino board and the base plate. So if I'd made an error when I bought that Arduino board in and not positioned it correctly on the top surface of that base plate, which I've deliberately done here, it's actually showing me the error that I've got, the interference I've got between the Arduino board and the base plate. It tells me which two components are actually interfering with each other, and it gives me a volume of interference. So that's three quite useful tools that you can find underneath the Inspect menu that may help you inspect your model and make sure it's good to go.